Deadpool and Wolverine has got to be one of the most anticipated summer blockbusters for a lot of people in a long time. I mean, come on, Hugh Jackman coming back to play Wolverine when everyone thought he was done playing the character, that is going to get butts in seats and people excited. Then you just have the third Deadpool movie. I mean, people love the Deadpool movies. You have 1 and 2 that were commercially and critically acclaimed. People like 1 more than 2, which is crazy. Deadpool 2 is one of the greatest sequels of all time. But that's another video. But Deadpool and Wolverine, was I excited to see the movie? Hell yes. I'm a big fan of Deadpool 1 and 2. Big fan of the X-Men films as well from 20th Century Fox. Kind of bummed that Disney bought them, but it is what it is. Oh, and then I guess that's another thing, right? Deadpool coming into the MCU, being a part of it now. Same thing with the X-Men and all that, right? But, you know, I was very excited for this movie, and I just could not wait to watch it. Unfortunately, I waited a little too long, I guess, because, you know, on the Twitters, on the X's, you get all the damn spoilers. And on YouTube, too, you better be careful with the Reels, and sometimes the algorithm will push some spoilers on you. But that's what happened on X. I was spoiled to hell with this movie. I mean, this movie, for those of you who may not know, although this video is a spoiler video, okay? I mean, I'm going to put it in the description just so you all know, and maybe a little label or something when I start the video. It is a spoiler-filled video, so if you haven't seen this movie, which this movie is going to make $1 billion, so you probably already have, but go watch the movie and then come back and see this video. But this movie has a crap ton of cameos. I mean, just all over the place. It is fan service to hell, okay? And in a good way. And so on X, I was just scrolling through post after post, just spoilers all the way, and I cannot believe that. I mean, just like, why do people feel the need to spoil a movie? I mean, like, the movie hasn't even been out for a month, you know what I mean, like, or 3 weeks or something like that. You know, people are just, God, they're so careless, and they just don't care. They're incredibly selfish. It is just it's disgraceful that we live in a society where you go on social media and people are spoiling, you know, very, very important things, you know, like cameos like that, you know, they're essential to a first viewing experience. And I got the majority of the cameos spoiled from the movie. So it really does suck. And that might have tainted a little bit of, you know, my excitement for the movie, but I was still really excited. But it probably did taint a little bit my ultimate verdict on the movie, but not so much to the point where I feel like I have to scrap this video and scrap my entire thoughts here, because at the end of the day, I was disappointed with Deadpool and Wolverine. Before we get any further, make sure to give this video a like if you like, and dislike the video if you just hate my face already. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more film and music commentary, analysis, reactions. Oh, and stop with the spoilers, people. Seriously. So, what did I not like from Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, let's first start with the things I liked. way to switch and bait you there. No, it'll be really quick because, you know, it's just, these are great things that the movie did, you know, and I have to point them out. The action in this film is absolutely amazing. You're going to have a terrific, terrific time. I think it's a hair smidge maybe better than Deadpool 2's action. But you know, like I said, I still prefer Deadpool 2 over this movie, really for incredibly important reasons like storytelling. But yes, action was amazing in this film. The opening sequence is, it's incredible. I think in many ways the gore was stepped up just tenfold in this film, which makes it even more amazing. Of course, this is the first R-rated MCU film, which, you know, that's a lot right there. But my God, they opened with a bang here. The bus scene. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That was absolutely insane. I mean, it was this kind of this parallel scene of just action and gore. Special effects were pretty good. You know, a tiny smidge, you know, green screen in there, and you could tell, especially when Hugh Jackman put on his classic X-Men 97 and comic book accurate look with the Wolverine cowl and the white eyes and everything. The special effects got a little bit, you know, just too, you know, just, that looks a little sus, but well, whatever. For the most part, it was, you know, 80%, 70%, just completely acceptable. But man, the gore, the action sequences, the fight scenes were amazing as well. The choreography was great. The profanity, of course, is just... It's hilarious. Deadpool breaking the fourth wall all the goddamn time. Great stuff here. The fourth wall breaks here. All the jabs at Disney and everything. The self-deprecating humor and the references to pop culture and stuff like that. Really great stuff. And the curse words as well. I mean, just the amount of F words in this film is amazing. I'm the type of person that loves to yell the F word. Like, just when the smallest of things go wrong, I like to yell the F word. And Deadpool is that type of person, so I enjoy it. The performances of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are just incredible. And even the villain as well. I don't remember her name. I don't know her name. But Professor X's sister, she was pretty good as well as a villain. Pretty twisted and gnarly stuff. Really good performances. And the guy from Pride and Prejudice is like a sub-villain in this film. I was like, dude, what's going on over here? A little bit of his accent, the fact that he's from London is part of the humor and stuff like that. The driest part of the movie in terms of humor, but I think that was the point, because a lot of British humor is very dry and kind of like I think a lot of us Americans are kind of like, that's a little cringe, kind of awkward, a little bit like The Office, right? It's just British humor. I heard crickets, okay, in the audience, and it was a packed theater, but that made it even more hilarious. So I dug it. I really did. Oh, and the music is fine. There's a little bit of badassery in the music here and there, but I still prefer Junkie XL's score from the first film. That is unmatched. Hear maximum effort from Deadpool 1. Hear it. Hear it. Anyways, let's just talk about one more positive thing, which is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, the character arc, because a lot of us were like, how in the hell are you bringing Wolverine back? We know Logan, of course, one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Logan, just Jesus. Literally, he died, right? It was just like a perfect ending to his character. But this specific Wolverine here, he's a different Wolverine, but he's also a rundown Wolverine. He's a Wolverine that just, let down his X-Men team, and he feels guilty for their death, right? And it's a very, very sad story. I mean, we don't get any like flashbacks like from that time, but we get the story retold through Hugh Jackman and his memories. Or through Logan and his memories, that is. Jesus, I just, you can't like separate Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. But so that's what happens, right? He just feels incredibly guilty. He's always been sort of the lone wolf, right? And it came to bite him in the ass. At least that's how he felt. He feels guilty for the death of his fellow X-Men. And he didn't want to be a part of the X-Men, and they wanted him to wear this stupid yellow suit, And then he went on a murderous rampage for some reason, for, killing mutants and human beings, because human beings were out trying to kill mutants and stuff. So just really, really incredibly dark stuff there. Pretty interesting backstory there. But he feels guilty. He feels like he can't save the world anymore, that that he's an alcoholic. And his arc that he has at the end of the movie, where he joins forces with Deadpool and he saves the world, I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing, right? And he was motivated, inspired by Deadpool's selfless actions and his desire to save his family. And so really, really cool stuff. And this is, I'm getting there. I'm getting there to the negative stuff, which is that it's so sad that Wolverine had an amazing, amazing arc in this film. Way more than Deadpool himself. The problem with Deadpool and Wolverine is the arc of Wade Wilson and Vanessa, his love interest. Here's the thing. Deadpool 2 ended the character arc of Wade Wilson, and not necessarily ended, but it had Wade Wilson's character and Vanessa had a fantastic character arc. Deadpool's always been selfish. He's always been, the merc with the mouth. He has like almost no sympathy. He kind of does whatever he wants. He is an anti-hero to a certain extent, but he's an idiot and he's selfish. But he meets Vanessa, right? And he becomes a hero for her. You know what I mean? And he gets inspired really to care about someone else besides him. And that person is Vanessa, of course. Everyone else, still, except the bartender guy or whatever, the guy that calls him an avocado. But that's beautiful, right? We love anti-heroes. We love characters that are pretty bad. It's like Hulk, right? Where he's just kind of this force of nature, and he's kind of uncontrollable, and he's kind of blurry in the morality and ethics. But, the love interest is what brings him home. We're all suckers to that, to that type of story, right? The anti-hero and the love interest. And that was beautiful. The arc and the storytelling in Deadpool 1 and 2 for these two characters was awesome. And especially at the end of Deadpool 2, we see that Deadpool, for the first time ever, he's willing to play ball. He wants to be part of the X-Force. And he's even, he might even want to be part of the X-Men, with Colossus. And he has this cool-ass team, with the X-Force. And he's willing to play ball, all because of these heaven slash hallucinogenic psychedelic visions that he has with his dead wife. And she kind of inspires him to put his heart in the right place and be good, have faith in people, do the right thing, be the hero. And, right at the very end of the movie, right, where he's about to go, he's about to pass, there's this beautiful vision between the two, and she's like, not right now. Now's not the time, but I'm going to be here waiting for you. It's just gorgeous. It's amazing. It's beautiful, right? It's at the end of the day, this is what's amazing about the Deadpool character in his films, is that like they're, incredibly, savage and gory and violent and, just the most curse words you will hear in a superhero film ever. But at their core, it is a story about a somewhat good guy who really loves his girlfriend. It's really heartwarming. It really is. And it's kind of a rom-com, actually, you know what I mean? But Deadpool and Wolverine kind of shits on that. And not sort of. I mean, I was talking about it with my girlfriend, and I was like, oh my God, no, they royally shit on the character arc. These characters go in places narratively that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so Deadpool comes back, he doesn't die fully, right? Because Vanessa, she's like, you learned your lesson, you're good now. Here you go. He sacrificed himself at the end of Deadpool 2, But Cable ended up saving his life by going back in time right before the bullet was about to hit Deadpool, and it saved Deadpool, right? That happened. Deadpool learned his lesson. He has new friends now. He has this purpose, newfound purpose. He wants to be a good guy, But then, of course, he's still Deadpool. He steals the watch from the two mutants there that are his friends. They fix Cable's watch. They go back in time, or he goes back in time, that is, to kill Adolf Hitler as well, but as a baby. But he goes back and he redoes everything, right? So he can have his wife again. So he does the selfish thing again. Poor Cable, right? Definitely, he was a hero there. So that happened. But in Deadpool Wolverine, that is sort of retconned in a way. And I have here the plot line on Wikipedia right here. Wade Wilson uses Cable's time-traveling device to cross from his native timeline of Earth 10005 to Earth 616, which is the sacred timeline, where he meets Happy Hogan and unsuccessfully requests to join the Avengers. So he goes back to this timeline, okay, which, again, at the end of Deadpool 2, because this is the 20th Century Fox universe, the whole, multiverse timeline thing, that doesn't exist, or 616, whatever. But now, because we're in the MCU, thanks Disney, we have Wade Wilson at the end of Deadpool 2 sort of going into a different universe timeline to get back to his wife and to get back Peter and the rest of the X-Force members that died. But somehow in this world, still after the events of Deadpool 2, Wade decides he's inspired by the Avengers in a way that, like, he knows that his wife wants his heart to be in the right place. He knows that his wife wants him to be a hero, that he wants him to do the right thing. She wants him to fight something greater than himself. And so he sees the Avengers, which are the greatest beacon of that in the MCU, and in that timeline, Earth 616, and he tries to join the Avengers. He gets rejected, and then somehow he goes into some depression. Like, he goes into some crazy depression, and then he goes and, does the used car salesman thing with his X-Force friend Peter, and then his wife Vanessa, who is like incredibly wholesome in Deadpool 1 and 2. Even in death, she inspires Wade to be a better person and waits for him in the same way that she waited for him in Deadpool 1 when she knew that he was going to die from terminal cancer. I mean, she is the most wholesome partner ever. Just the most wholesome stripper to ever exist. And then somehow in Deadpool and Wolverine, she becomes annoyed and frustrated at Wade's decision to stop being a hero. He just has no purpose anymore, and he's just a used car salesman, and she breaks up with him, and also because, you almost got me killed, through your mercenary fucking, a job or whatever. And she's blaming it on him and making him feel like crap, and then he has no purpose, and he's not good, and he's not a hero anymore. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't go in line with the character that she was in Deadpool 1 and 2. And then Wade, like I said, also, we know he's incredibly selfish and stuff like that, but he learned his lesson in Deadpool 2. Like, he was willing to play ball and be part of a team with the X-Force. And he did mention that to, Jon Favreau's character. He said, well, I was part of Special Forces, but I was also part of the X-Force for a bit or whatever, and the X-Men or whatever. But he learned his lesson, and now he's trying to join another group, right? Which kind of does make sense. But the fact that he then goes into a depression because he doesn't join into the Avengers because he does want to impress his wife. He wants to show her that he's a good person, that he fights for something greater than himself. But then Jon Favreau's character rejects him, tells him, you don't do this for yourself, do it because people need it. Which is ironic because, I think Deadpool's character, while being selfish at the same time, everything that he's been doing in Deadpool 1 and 2 is also incredibly selfless. So it's weird. But it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre that he would go into this depression, because he had learned his lesson in Deadpool 1 and 2, that is. He was a reformed person. He was a hero. He was a selfless person. The same thing that he did at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, he did in Deadpool 2. And somehow we're supposed to feel like there was an arc in Deadpool and Wolverine when he did it again at the very end and sacrificed himself. It's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense, and especially with Vanessa's character, and especially with Wade Wilson's desire to be a nobody, and give up being Deadpool after being rejected. It doesn't make any sense, and it almost puts way the hell too much importance on the Avengers and stuff like that, and I know that it's in the MCU, but, like, my God, dude, it is so bizarre. And to be honest, when I was thinking about this stuff, I talked about it with my girlfriend, and at first I was like, oh my God, maybe they're like, incredibly, incredibly genius with the way they did this. And, it was like they were trying to subvert the typical superhero narrative of the girlfriend of the superhero being pushed away by the hero because he wants to be a hero. And he knows that if he's a hero, he endangers the lives of his loved ones. Similar to, even though, Deadpool, he was a merc and he was also Deadpool, that endangered his wife and almost got her killed. And so the typical narrative, right, we see, Spider-Man doing this, of course, with Mary Jane, is push her away. But here in this film, the girlfriend wants the guy to be the hero. And she leaves him because he's not the hero. You know what I mean? Because Wade wants to be a normal person. Not only to keep her safe, but because he feels like he's a failure, right? And so it's like a complete subversion of that, which is pretty genius, but I don't think at the end of the day they would think that smartly. I don't know. And also, on top of all the other things that I just mentioned, where it just doesn't narratively make sense from Vanessa's standpoint to Wade Wilson's standpoint. It just doesn't make sense to their characters just natively for them to do those things, unless you're trying to subvert it. But like, I just didn't feel like that was explicit. You know what I mean? Like, usually these subversions in these Deadpool films are pretty explicit. So it's an incredible bummer. Look, I don't know how I may sound like to all of you. You're probably all like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? It's one of the greatest MCU movies of all time. What's wrong with you? But like, I can't help it, man. I care about story. And unfortunately, Deadpool and Wolverine, though it is a fun time, especially with all those goddamn cameos and the fan service and the language and the gore and the action and Wolverine, come on. Hugh Jackman, you are still killing it, man. That scene in the van, oh my God, incredible. But even though those things are true, and I had a blast watching the film, it hurts me to know that the core of the film, the character development of one of the main characters of the film, Deadpool, and the secondary main character, Vanessa, right, in a way, she's still a supporting character, still a very important character. The fact that their journeys don't make any sense in this film and just completely slaps, just completely contradicts and spits on the journey that these two characters have been on, it breaks apart for me. The film completely falls apart and disappoints me. It does. And that is the case, right? At the end of the day, with movies in general, right? Is that you can have a lot of fun with it, but if the story itself is dumb, and the core of the essence of the story, your narrative blocks just don't make sense, it doesn't matter how fun the movie is, right? So that's where I'm coming from, and I'm surprised that no one's saying this. You know what I mean? Like, it's bizarre to me, because if you're paying attention, this film is just a complete contradiction to what we know of these characters to be. I know that Deadpool and Wolverine is still it's partly a Wolverine X-Men film, right? But no, it's to me, it's Deadpool 3, right? That's what it was meant to be, really. So it's a complete disappointment. And please go in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Also, if you think I'm making some sense, please let me know as well. I don't want to feel alone here. If you think I'm wrong, again, please let me know or correct me. But yeah, that's another thing too, is, and I mentioned it earlier in the video, but it's a little confusing, you know what I mean? Like, just how he goes into this other timeline, the 616 timeline, and that is supposedly the timeline where Logan died. And if it's not the timeline where Logan died, and it's the Earth 10005 timeline, the original timeline where Logan's from, he's not supposed to care that because Mr. Paradox was telling him that Logan dying is going to break apart, the universe, right? The timeline of that specific timeline. And so if it is Earth 10005, the original Deadpool timeline, it doesn't make any sense, because he left that. He left that timeline using Cable's watch, right? And now if he's in Earth 616, why is Logan, the events of Logan, canon in now the MCU 616? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And if it is, if you're just adding that element, for the sake of writing, for the sake of things to be consistent, and if it is, I guess, I guess that makes sense, right? Just put whatever you want in there, I guess, right? It's bizarre. It really is just bizarre. I guess, I guess it does make a tinge of sense to a degree, the Deadpool films, but they were also set in the X-Men universe. But also Deadpool is kind of a fourth wall breaking character anyway. He could be anywhere. But it's a little confusing. It's a little contradicting that in that world, the original Deadpool 1 and 2 universe that we know of, the events of Logan don't exist, but the events of X-Men supposedly exist, right? Because we know the X-Men are there. But maybe not, because at the same time, maybe it's all a joke. I guess that would be the saving grace, right? Maybe it's all a joke. Because Deadpool in 1 and 2 has always made a joke about how, the budget wasn't there to include all the other X-Men. So Deadpool's universe maybe was specifically unique. It was the Earth 10005 universe, and that was specific just to Deadpool and a little bit of X-Men. You know what I mean? And then the Logan X-Men universe is another universe, right? You could say that, and so when you put the MCU there, and when Disney bought Fox, they're like, we're going to put the MCU in that universe now. Right, they're just going to retrofit it, I guess that makes sense, but even so, all of that being the case, it still doesn't explain the actual character development and the character arcs and the way just they treat these characters narratively in the movie, Vanessa and Wade Wilson. So incredibly disappointed there. But again, please let me know. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? In the comment section below. Those are my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. I know I didn't even talk about the cameos. Look, I'm a big Henry Cavill fan. I loved seeing Wolverine. I loved seeing comic-accurate Wolverine as well. I love seeing Johnny Storm, Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm. That's amazing. The Mad Max references were cool. Pyro back from the original X-Men films. That's great. Juggernaut, is back from X-Men 3. That was great. Lady Deadpool, all the other Deadpools, of course. Nice Pool or Nice Deadpool. Just fantastic stuff. Wolverine, obviously, his costume, that's all amazing. And the love letter that the film had to the 20th century. Oh my God, Gambit, dude. Fucking Gambit. Channing Tatum is Gambit. It was stolen from us, man. We never, ever got to see. I mean, thank God we got this movie, but my God, what a solo film that would have been to see Channing Tatum as Gambit. That would have been awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. It's such a shame that we're probably not going to get that. Just a complete shame, because that was awesome. Blade coming back, Elektra, incredible. Wish Ben Affleck would have been open to do Daredevil. I mean, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know, but he wasn't in the movie. That would have been cool. I wonder if they reached out to like Reed Richards from the original Fantastic Four or Jessica Alba. I wonder if they did that. But anyways, just a lot of legacy 20th Century Fox franchises, comic book franchises, just amazing. And the love letter at the end, the bloopers and everything from all the X-Men films, and Fantastic Four as well. I saw that. The Fan Four Stick films, I saw that. You were seen, you were robbed. Yeah, the love letter that the film has to the end of an era, right, is pretty cool. I do like that. While, Disney's making all the money at the end of the day, but it's fine. It's a fine little homage, and it was nice to see, and all those other cameos. Great stuff. But anyways, main thing is the movie still disappointed me. So give this video a like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, or whatever video or movie you would like me to cover. Let me know in the comment section. Share with your Deadpool and Wolverine loving or hating friends, if you will. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you, you beautiful creature. But I think that's it for me. You all take care, stay safe, and until next time, I love you.